Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to all. We meet again for our web programming class. Today I'm going to talk about PHP MySQL. Okay, this topic is very related with your project and is involved database developments. Okay, actually before we come into technical part of PHP MySQL, we have to understand the concept of database. Okay, so the question is, what is database? Okay, if you look into this lecture notes, it's mentioned about what is SQL. All right, so actually a database is an organized collection of data, right? So if you're looking into the lecture note, MySQL is a database. Okay, but there are a few versions of database. One of them is Oracle, another one is Microsoft MySQL, but the most popular in the world now is MySQL. You know why? Because it's free. Okay, and it's everybody can use MySQL without any problems. Okay. Uh, Today we are learning about relational databases. Okay, in this case, databases where the data is made up of table and stored in a tabular format. If you're looking into tabular format, it is based on column and row. Okay, I think you are already familiar with column and row, and this is something that you have to convert your data or information into column and row. Okay, that's the very first thing you have to understand before you can create your own database. Okay, database is very useful in storing information categorically. Okay, what it means here, if you're looking into the database concept, the column is a category and the row is a data entry. So if you're looking into something like a company may have a database with the following tables. So in that table, we have a row and column. Okay, the column is category and the row is the data or data entries. Okay, so that's something related with database, and you have to understand. In PHP MySQL, what we're going to learn is something related with application that I will try to guide you in terms of what we call a short form in CRUD. Okay, CRUD, something related with create database, read database, update database, and delete the database. So this is the required knowledge for most of the full stack developer, and we are trying to guide you to become something like full stack developer, and finally you are someone who can build the front end and user interface, but also you can build a backend programming language, and CRUD means create, read, updates, and deletes. Okay, these are the important things, important skill for every web developer in order to support or to create your own database. Okay, so in PHP MySQL, it involves some sort like a query. Okay, related with query. If you're looking into this slide, you can see that a query is a question or a request. Okay, means that you have a query. Then how to deliver your query is through one languages that call MySQL languages or SQL language. So the language of MySQL is quite straightforward. If you're looking into the term or the syntax of MySQL language is something like this: SQL query, select. So what to select? Last name. Okay, what is the last name? From. Persona. Persona is variables. Last name also variables. The uppercase select and from is the SQL syntax language. Okay. Now, okay, the first task, if you're looking into these lecture notes, is about how to create a connections. So in order to create connection, you have to follow the syntax. MySQL syntax. The very beginning one start with MySQL underscore connect, and then you have a server name. For your case, maybe if you use your local computer, you have to change this to localhost. Okay, you're going to use localhost followed by username and password. Okay, what is username and password? Okay, username is something related with the one that you, during your installation of your web server, you are using something like root or admin, things like that. You have to retype your username here in your programming, and then the password that you use during your XAMPP installation or MUM installation, things like that. Okay, because I'm using Mac, the Mac default password for MUM is root, username root, and the password also root. So for those who are using MUM, you can use root and root, okay, or maybe you want to create your own, that would be fine, okay. But for default password, I'm using default. The username is root and the password is root. Okay, the syntax is actually clearly stated that server name can be also have some optional like localhost colon 3306. It depends on your server configurations and the usernames and password. Okay, some Microsoft computer have different default value, so you have to find what is your default value before you can do the connection of database. Okay, how to create a connection? Okay, apply from this syntax, this one. Okay, this one. All right, I'm using a pen here. This one. Oh, wait, this syntax doesn't work here. Okay, this syntax, right? You will apply this into something like this. Okay, how to create connections? Start with con is a variables, and then followed by mysql underscore connect, and then followed by localhost. Okay, because I'm using localhost, and for these lecture notes, they are using Peter password ABC123. For me, I'm using root, and the password is root. Okay, and then if you're looking into the logic of programming, if connection, right, die, could not connect, Microsoft error. If the connection not die, it will give you some code. That's the basic idea about connection of database. Now, how to close connection? If you're looking into how to close connection, I will come into the tutorial after this, but I give you some sort of like idea. The first step to do to make sure that you understand is to create a connections. Then you have to understand how to close connections. Okay, otherwise it become terrible because you didn't know the concept of database. Number one, create CRUD. Go back to the CRUD. Create, read, update, and delete. That's the core. But before you can do CRUD, you have to do the connection, and you know how to close the connections. Okay, this is the syntax how to do the close connection. Again, you are using con variables, mysql connect, and then you have a local host. Again, you use this one is a username, and this one is a password. Okay, die connection mysql, and then this is the most important things. If in the final exam we ask you how to do close connection of database, so this is the must syntax that you should put as your answer, right? Next, the second part is how to create database. Okay, it's part of the CRUD: create, read, update, and delete. Okay, the first thing in CRUD is create database. This is the most basic things actually. Another basic thing is connection. This is another basic thing that called create database. How to create? The syntax is like this. Okay, again you have connections. Connection is a variable, con, and then mysql connect. You see, this is almost similar like the other. All of these are using the same style. Okay, and then if you're looking into create database, we have localhost, and you use username and password, almost the same. And then if you cannot connect, it will give you some could not connect. This is what we call alphanumeric, and you can change them into, because this is a string, you can put, let's say, Omar cannot connect, something like that. But if you successfully in connection, you can put Omar, your database successfully created, something like this. So this is the syntax for creating a database. Okay, then this is almost the same style. If else, something like that. If the connection failed, it will give you this signal. If the connection successfully, it will give you this signal. Okay, and mysql underscore create database, and this is the what we call database of your name, database name. Okay, so this is username and password. This is your database name. You can change this. Okay. Right, so that's the first thing. Actually, the third thing is that you learn. Number one is to do the connection. Number two is to close connection. You know how to do close connection. Number three is how to create a database. Okay, and you know that database consists of column and row. Okay, column is a categorical and row is the data. So this is elements of what we call a table. Okay, so in database, what you have to do is how to create tables. This is task number 4. Okay, how to create table? That will be very straightforward. This is the syntax for creating table. mysql underscore select database. Okay, and then this is your database, and then follow your variable that call connections, con, right? And then the bold text here show the contents of your tables. Okay, create table that name persona. Okay, and then the first name normally refer to the first category that call column number 1. Last name column number 2, and the third column is age, and this is declared as integer. Okay, so the first one and the second one we declare as a variable of character. Okay, and then mysql underscore query, and then you just execute the query like this, and then you do the close connections. Always have to have the close connection at the end of your programming, especially related with creating a table. Okay, so that's number 4, creating a table. You can I will upload the source code for you to change. Okay, the creating table underscore tbl.php will be given to you, and then I want you to create your own database after this, and using a tutorial. I will upload the tutorial for you to try, and most of the cases you have to do some editing. Okay, of course you have to do the editing. Another part, good resources for you is go to W3 School and try to looking into different kind of way in database. If you go to the W3 School, you can see a lot of different things like MySQLi object-oriented style, or you can choose MySQL procedural class, things like that. Okay, so this is almost the same. You can see the programming. I have tested this code and it's worked very well, fantastic. And also the text, the source code that given through the lecture notes. Okay. Now the next part, creating a table. Okay, this is the part, the most important thing. SQL variables, create table name persona, and you have a first name, last name, and age. Okay, then don't forget to have execute query and also close connection. Next, how to create table again, still there. So you can see primary and auto increment field. So you are just using primary key and auto increment key, because when you create table, they will automatically increase the numbers of the data. Okay, insert data. All right, for insert data, this is almost similar style. Have to do the connection first, and then do the insert one. Okay, have to do the database selection, the correct one. Okay, this one. This is your database name. Okay, and then this is the bold one, is showing the what we call the core of the programming part for insert a data. In this case, we are going to insert into persona table. Okay, the database name is my underscore data db, and the table is persona, and inside the persona we have first name, last name, age, and the value here we put Peter Griffin and the age of 35, something like that. Okay, so then we put another data, insert into persona, first name, last name, age. We put another data, new data, Glenn Gomery, and the age is 33. And don't forget to close your connection. That one is on insert database. Okay, and then insert data from a form into a database. Okay, All right, so I will continue in my next lecture. Thank you. That's it for now.